Hi everyone, welcome to Honey Drops Tarot. This is a reading for the sign of Aries, Sun, Moon, Rising, or Venus. Aries, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for all of your likes, shares, and subscribes. I truly appreciate it. Just a quick note, please do not fall for any scammers. I will never reach out to solicit for a private reading. I do offer private readings, and if you're interested in signing up for one of those or in making a donation, the information regarding that can be found in the About section of my YouTube page, and I thank you so much in advance. Aries, we're doing your reading today with an overall energy from the Rose Oracle, which is a new deck that I got. Another new deck, which I'm going to use for your tarot reading, is the Tarot Landscapes. So I have this beautiful citrine smoky quartz crystal sphere on my desk for your reading today, because I just felt like these general readings needed some yellow energy, some sunshine energy, some, the thing about this particular crystal, I've had this crystal for a while, but for you just now, it just said the mixture of shadow and light, that there has to be some kind of awareness or understanding of our shadow energy, and almost like a comfort with the shadow. So that could be something that you are dealing with at this time. That was very quick for your energy. The child within, inner mother innocence, gentleness, tenderness. I pre-shuffled these cards, but I was just about to get into it, and this card just slipped right off the top, and we're going to take it. The child within, inner mother, innocence, gentleness, tenderness. So could be something in your shadow energy from childhood. Isn't that always the case? I mean, just because it's been said a lot doesn't mean it doesn't bear repeating. It isn't worth repeating that so much of who we are and have developed into as a person has come from our childhood and the way that we learn to cope with life, how we endured trauma and overcome adversity and handled success, handled other people. And this card is almost asking you to remember that there was a time, and that there's a kind of little person inside of your soul that is still beautiful and innocent and worthy. So I'm going to get 3 cards for the base spread, 3 cards for clarifier, to see past, present, and future for Aries, please. Oh, your cards do not. The deck doesn't want to stay in. The deck doesn't want to stay in my hand. Okay, and then a whole grouping came out, and so I'm going to take it. Starting with your past energy, you got the King of Cups in the reverse. This is Scorpio energy. In the tarot, all the suits, there are 4 suits: Cups, Swords, Pentacles, and Wands. And the Cups suit talks all about water energy, feelings, emotion, compassion, friendship, love, things like that. The King, by the time we get to the King in this suit, it represents somebody who has a mastery over the emotions, which is not to say that they repress them in any way. It's just that they can almost use their emotions to their advantage, where emotions do not control us, but rather we use them as our guidance system, as a way to connect with others, to empathize. And so the King of Cups is very connected to, this is divine masculine energy, they're very connected to their feelings, and that they can articulate their feelings. They know what it is that they feel. You know, sometimes people don't know what it is that they feel about something. And the king can access them whenever they choose. But they might not wear everything on their sleeve. The King of Cups is somebody that you can always rely on. Though it's like great dad energy, right? It doesn't have to describe a man. It's just divine masculine energy that is protective and comforting and just there for you. But you got this card in the reverse. There's almost like a sense that you're searching. Like you're kind of, I just am looking at this other crystal on my desk that Spirit wanted me to show to you. This is a sodalite crystal. This is the stone of the poet, the writer, the orator, the speaker, someone who has a way with words. And I saw this kind of doing this, like the waves on the ocean. It's almost like you're kind of bobbing and bouncing on those waves, trying to figure out what it is like that you feel, the position that you're taking. It's important somehow that you know what position you're taking in a situation, in an argument. Queen of Cups, King and Queen of Cups together in the past energy. This could have been talking about a divine partnership, but something that is a little topsy-turvy. It's interesting too, right? I was saying this. I didn't even really register. I was looking at this. I wasn't even paying attention to this. And now I'm seeing that topsy-turvy kind of ocean energy. Oh, I just heard that line from that Billie Eilish song. Which is a beautiful song called Ocean Eyes. So I'm trying to bring forth the lyrics, but I can't really. I've only heard that song maybe a handful of times because it's really emotional. It's hard to listen to, not because it's not stunningly beautiful, but because it just, some of her songs really kind of cut deep, and it's hard to listen to them without falling into that chasm with her, because her voice is so beautiful, it's so striking. Queen of Cups is Cancer energy and talks about somebody who is really loving, really compassionate, has a very full cup of love to give. But I almost see this here as that, I don't know where you fall in this situation. This is the past. I don't know where you fall in this situation. But there's one person that just wants to, it's almost like bring you in, right? Bring you down to the depths with them. And then the other person is like, I don't want to even go in that direction. Like, I can't go into that direction with you. It's too scary. These emotional waters are too scary. I don't know. There could have been, maybe it had to do with your parents. There could be a situation here where you're having to deal with elderly parents and making decisions for them. I had that thought before, this was a couple hours ago, before I even turned on the camera to do your reading. You're the first reading I'm doing today, about what that's like for people. We all face it eventually, of the idea of taking care of our parents, and it's especially hard if they don't have a partner. Then as children, we become their partner in a sense. So that could resonate with somebody, but I feel as though these are two different people and failing to come to connection. I'm going to ask for a clarifier. Why is that, Spirit? What was the hindrance? What was the hindrance in this connection? 2 cards came out. The Ace of Swords, the 4 of Wands in reverse. 1 by land, 1 by sea. 1 by land, 1 by sea. Both these cards are in reverse for you. You can see here the iceberg, so much happening underneath the surface. The Ace of Swords, number 1, Ace of Swords. Ace of Swords comes from spirit, doesn't it? The new beginning, the new chapter starting, the epiphany, that there's so much more going on underneath the surface, right? But there was just a refusal to look at it, right? Just like I was saying here, there was a refusal by someone to get sucked into this situation, to get enveloped or taken in by someone else's love, by someone else's gestures, outreach. There's just an absolute refusal, and an absolute refusal to see this kind of massive entity underneath the surface. But if you're thinking about the water, think about it in terms of consciousness or subconsciousness. You know there's a lot more going underneath the depths, underneath the surface, but you can't. Maybe you're just not in the stable position to handle it at this time. 4 of Wands. Wands is fire energy. It talks about a stable foundation, a firm foundation, a foundation that we've built up for ourselves. You got this card in reverse. Could be talking about the fact that you don't feel like celebrating, you don't feel like taking that next step through that doorway, the doorway to whatever epiphany this is. There's an absolute refusal here in the past energy to face something. It's okay. I mean, this is not like a judgment. It's just, this is what I see in the cards. Maybe you just had a lot on your plate, and dealing with emotions just seemed like something on the back burner while you were handling what was right in front of you. The thing about it is, you know, sometimes we see, oh, this is just this little kind of situation right in front of me. It seems like a mountain, right? So I'm just going to deal with this for right now, but all the while not really understanding, like Titanic style, not understanding that if you don't handle it in a way that is mindful and thorough, is what Spirit just wanted me to say, thorough, you could be facing something a little bit greater, or you could have found yourself in that position, because this is the past energy. In the present energy, calm, 6 of Swords. So whatever happened in this, I think it was more just like, I'm just gonna slowly. Look, even this boat energy in a swords card, right? In a swords card, yes, we see an avian entity, right? Usually swords, it's air energy. So sometimes it's represented by birds and planes and things that fly. But there's a huge plot of water here with a sailboat for an air card. So it really shows me that it's just like, instead of facing this head on, I'm just going to back away slowly, like Homer and into the bushes, Homer Simpson, I'm just quietly in the night, I'm just going to sail away. 6 of Swords, from moving from choppy waters to calm waters. Choppy waters. You know, this crystal in particular, and now it's become a pretty important piece of your reading today. This crystal is all about the throat chakra and speaking clearly. Sometimes it can also talk about speaking creatively, using it to be creative, to story tell. But we, you know, when we tell stories, we have to be careful And Spirit is just saying, be mindful of the stories you tell yourself, the stories you tell yourself. But you moved away from a situation that could have potentially been, I want to say, disastrous. Or not disastrous, but just something that you felt that you were not prepared for. I take back disastrous. And I just say, okay, you weren't prepared for it. And you like to be prepared. You also like to fly by the seat of your pants, but you want it to be like on your terms. But when it ended up happening, the Star card in reverse, Major Arcana, number 17, I always forget. Number 17, Major Arcana, Aquarius energy. Got this card in reverse. There's a little lightning bug here. Lightning bug is, or firefly, right? They're the source of their own light. They're the source of their own light. Spirit wanted me to say that to you. It's important to say they're the source of their own light. Star card can talk about wish fulfillment and healing, wishing on a star. And you got it in reverse. So even though you floated away from a situation, that you might have some regrets about how this situation went down. Because it's not every day, and I will tell you, and maybe I'm a little biased, but Spirit is giving it to me. This is Cancer energy, right? I am, full disclosure, I am a Cancer. And when I think about the Queen of Cups just as a card, she's very, very loving. She's very giving. And sometimes to Cancer's detriment, they overgive. And this could have been a situation where, you know, there was somebody that, and it doesn't have to be a Cancer, it just is a person that has these qualities that maybe it just felt like they were loving you. This sounds crazy, but that they were loving you so much that all you could think about was getting away from it. Right? Using all of your tentacles to just, you know, how I'm seeing this image of when you try to give a cat a bath. Cats don't like water. So you try to put a cat in a bathtub and it's a nightmare. It's an absolute nightmare. But they spread out their hands, their front paws and their back paws to try and do anything to avoid being in that water. This is how I see you in the past energy. Like with this energy, just all the tentacles in different directions spread out, suction cups on the sides. Like, I will do anything not to be kind of sucked into this love vortex or whatever this is, right? And Spirit is saying, well, but why? Why were you... Because the thing about the Queen of Cups, she's very genuine. Again, doesn't have to describe a Cancer, doesn't have to describe a woman. I felt a little bit of running away. I'm just gonna be honest. I'm just gonna call it like I see it. Like, this feels like a little running away, and you kind of coming to this realization in the present moment that that's not quite what I wanted to do, but I just felt like I had no choice, and that's fine. You do what you do. You do what you need to do. But something hasn't come in for you quite yet. It doesn't have to describe a person. It can describe a place, a company, a family unit. Take it as it resonates. Can you clarify the Star in reverse, please? The Fool, the Knight of Swords, both in the upright. So the Fool, very good. You felt like you needed to take a risk, Aries. You felt like there was something more important that you had to attend to. You had to. Like, this is a peregrine falcon. I didn't know much about them until the internet educated me on it, specifically Instagram, the peregrine falcon and how it hunts. It's like a dive bomber. It's like a bullet that when it goes after its prey, I mean, look at the way that it's positioned, right? It's like an arrow or like a cannonball, and just absolutely, totally locked in on its prey. And so I see this here as you completely locking into your leap of faith that you wanted. The reason why you left the past situation is because you just felt that there was all of this abundance here. I mean, who wouldn't go after that? That's pretty spectacular. The Fool card is the major arcana number 0. The Fool card starts the tarot. It's all about the Fool's journey. How we as adults recapture childlike energy in order to get back onto our life's blueprint, our path in life, right? This is you beelining on that path that you felt was everything that you wanted and hoped for. And yet the Star card is in the reverse. So there's something missing. There's something missing. I want one more, please. Spirit said use another deck. Okay. I'm going to use Mystic Mondays. Spirit wants a clarifier from another deck. So I'm gonna one card, thank you. Okay, 9 of Wands. You know, 9 of Wands talks about tenacity, really staying the course. I feel as though put up a lot of blocking energy as well. Okay, Spirit is showing me the scene from The Matrix. I hope all of you have seen The Matrix, but if you haven't, the beginning of the movie opens with this woman named Trinity, and before we even know what's happening in the movie, she's like running from the cops in kind of a pleather catsuit situation, which she looks amazing in. Carrie-Anne Moss was the actress, amazing. Anyway, she's running from the cops at superhuman speed. Superhuman speed. They can't even believe it. And she dive bombs. Well, she's jumping across buildings, and she sees one window with a light in it, like across the way. And she jumps this thank you, Spirit. She jumps this inhuman distance and literally dive bombs into a window in another building. Tumbles down a staircase. And you see her immediately, she's on the ground, like her feet are still on the staircase. She turns around with her 2 kind of weapons, pointing them at the window from like a position of ultimate vulnerability, because she's literally on her back, pointing them up at the window. And there's a single light bulb just kind of swaying back and forth. And she's absolutely ready to fight. And this is what I see for you. That you leapt an almost impossible distance, and yet you're looking back with your weapons up, your emotional weapons up, guarded. in the future energy. And I see good things if you can bring yourself to do it. The Ten of Cups and the Two of Swords. So how different are these cards, right? Just the vibe. Two of Swords talks about deliberation, that you can't see a way across anymore. It's crazy though, because you already know what you're capable of. You're capable of these like impossible bounds, these leaps. You understand what it means to have a very certain trajectory on something, to take that leap of faith, to go after what you want. You can recognize that you have the resources and the ability and the experience to do it. When it comes to what I feel is some kind of, Spirit just said, authenticity, like real, beautiful, abundant quietude. It almost paralyzes you. It almost causes you to question and over question. Two of Swords is traditionally a card of the character has a blindfold on the eyes and the swords are crossed like this. And there's just a lot of thinking, a lot of strategizing about how, but there's no movement to. It's just, there's stagnancy towards this, by all accounts, blissful state, abundant state. I'm going to ask for a clarifier. Why the Two of Swords, Spirit? Two cards came out. Eight of Pentacles, Seven of Swords in the reverse. Is this a workplace scenario? Eight of Pentacles. Eight of Pentacles talks about, oh, see, look. There's a bee here and the hive over here. The bee is like, this bee is in particular getting the pollen, kind of the little soldier out to get all the resources to bring back to the hive, and yet it feels very isolated. There's all this hive action going over here, and then you're just kind of off in the corner. You're doing your thing. You're doing the thing that you think you're meant to be doing. This is what a bee does. They go around gathering pollen, come back to make the honey, right? Eight of Pentacles describes earth energy, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, and how we devote the majority of our energy. Where do we devote it to? You know, and usually for most people that's work. Where do we spend the most of our time, effort, and energies? Most of the time it's work. Sometimes it can be family, sometimes both, right? But like, I see this as kind of, whatever this is, there's like a really, I'm being really called to look at the distance between the bee and the hive. You're feeling a distance between you and a community, you and a group of people. And with the Seven of Swords in the reverse, you're not really seeing the strategic answer in how to bridge that gap. The Seven of Swords is also all about kind of perhaps exiting quietly out of a situation with the least amount of fanfare and the least amount of resistance. I feel that there's a lot of confusion here. Especially because I feel as though somebody really just It's not to say that Spirit doesn't have you, but it's almost like they're saying this is a part of your learning process. We absolutely have you, but it's a part of your learning process as to what decisions you specifically made in your free will to end up in all of these scenarios, right? And maybe it was like you were trying to go after a childhood dream, which no one would ever fault you for. At the same time, it's almost like Spirit just showed me like a scenario where, was it actually your childhood dream, or was it like your parents' childhood dream for you? I'm going to ask for a clarifier. No, I'm going to ask for advice from Spirit. Advice from Spirit, please. Advice from Spirit. 3 cards came out. King of Pentacles, King of Swords in reverse, the World. Okay, so let's talk about the King of Pentacles first. Isn't this an imposing presence? The King of Pentacles, Earth energy. Somebody who is quite a leader, but has resources, has a lot of abundance, and knows how to use it. So Spirit is saying, be smart about your resources. You are powerful, is what they're saying. King of Swords in the reverse, however. It's like a carrion bird, isn't it? It's kind of like a vulture. King of Swords can be quite cold. It's air energy. Gemini. Spirit is saying, don't be so just heard that song, How Could You Be So Heartless? I don't know who sings that song. It's like, not techno, it's like, I don't even know who sings that song. I feel like it's an R&B song, but how could you be so heartless? Spirit's playing that in my head. Spirit is saying, it's like, use your power for good. Try not to be a know-it-all. No offense, Aries. That's what I just heard. That try not to be a know-it-all, because the King of Swords can be a know-it-all, but it's in the reverse. So this is your advice. Like, try to inject more feeling into the situation. You already know that you're powerful. You already know this. You embody this. But maybe people trying to approach you feel like you're an imposing presence. I mean, look how imposing this is with the World card. The chapter is coming to a close right now, and there could be some growing pains involved in that. Spirit's kind of just saying, stay the course. Stay the course. You will, and really try to allow, Spirit just said, allow for a difference of opinion. That dissension can be a productive tool. Dissension can be a productive tool. What does that mean? It means that people disagree with you. Instead of reacting defensively, or instead of being the aggressor, just listen. And then listen to yourself. Listen to your trigger. If it triggers you. Hey, get back to this card. Get back to that space of looking at the world with childlike wonder. Because that's what the Fool energy is all about. As you're reading Aries, I hope that it resonated. If it did, please like, share, subscribe, comment down below. Please hit the bell notification to be updated as to when I post new readings. Thank you, Aries.